Okay, well, I think we'll make a start, and anybody else who joins us will just have to drop in as we're going. Well, hello and welcome. We're going to be looking at effective team communication and managing simple projects today. As we go, my name is James Pennington, and I'll be taking you through this session. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're all in a strange and interesting point with some of us getting back to work and businesses starting to open up, and the need for remote working and being able to manage our business and operations are becoming extremely important. Obviously, with the ability to go back to work, that is improving in many ways, but obviously the social distancing is still there. Obviously, as we go through this afternoon, if you've got a question, you can raise your hand using the tool. You can also post into the question tool and also send me things across on the chat. The webinar is being recorded, so you'll be able to go back through it there. And we've also got a few polls for you to take part in as we go through the afternoon, just really to help you think about how well your business communicates and the ways you are using tools to aid the communication and obviously manage some projects. I can unmute you from here if you'd like to ask a question directly, and obviously please do feel if you've got something you'd like to ask, then please go ahead. Obviously this is under the ICT for Growth support available for Humber Business Growth, and at the end of my presentation I'll go through some of the bespoke offers that are available to you as businesses in your area. And obviously we'll send you some information through on email if you are interested. So today's seminar, okay, we're going to look at the importance and the role of communication and the impact that that has on your business, just to sort of set the scene on why it is important that you are communicating well to your staff, you're communicating well to your customers. And then we'll drop in and start looking at some generic technology areas and go through where they fit in the overall scheme of things about managing information and data. And then at the end, hopefully if the technology works well, I will show you some tools, some very simple tools to help you get started that you may be using already, or you may look at them and think, okay, this is going to work for my business. It's simple and it's straightforward. And that might be something that the ICT for Growth program can help you scope and understand where it fits and how to do that more effectively. So let's get started. So I've got a poll to get us going. I'm just going to put that in. If you'd like to answer the questions, that would be great. First poll is how well, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being poor and 10 being good, do you feel that your business communicates? So how good is your communication to the people in your organization about what is happening and what is going on in your business? If you'd like to take a look at that, that would be useful, just so we can get an idea of where we start. Okay, I'll just give it a few more seconds, and then I'll end that and I'll share the results to you. Okay, share results. Okay, if we have a quick look over this, it's quite interesting. We've got 2 people up near the top being brilliant at it. The rest of you sort of around the middle. Good that nobody has put 1. So you're all doing something, okay? And we're going to look at why this is important to your business by going through some stats and information on this. Okay, so the impact of poor communication. There is a generational focus on this, and as we go through some of the statistics, you'll start to see that playing out. But we are in the risk of creating generations, creating employees that communicate in a different way to the vast majority of us. Now, communication is extremely important in business. Poor communication contributes. So this is when you as an organization, you're not really communicating clearly to your staff, you're not communicating clearly to your customers. And it's been shown through an Economist Intelligence research report that poor communication contributes excessively to stress inside of businesses. That's stress on your employees. There's a failure to complete projects, and ultimately that can also end up with a loss of sales. The survey looked at 403 executives and managers of staff in US companies, and they found that miscommunication was contributing to their stress, failure to complete, and loss of sales. Now, this isn't just unpleasant as the person who's done the research, okay? It has an overall effect on the performance of the business. And miscommunication inside organizations can take on many, many different forms. So communication as a business, we need to be a lot better at it. The way we do it can have an enormous impact on our staff and their willingness to work and operate effectively. Now, generationally, there is a difference in how the millennials and Generation Z perform and communicate to the older generation. This has been shown through many, many different pieces of research. And when I show you some results in a few minutes, then that will perhaps signify, and you might even know in terms of looking across your own organizations, that you can see this in practice. Different people, different ages respond differently to how information is shared. So we have another quick poll, okay? And just a quick question, how often do you use the following communication tools? Now, let me pull that poll up. Okay, question 2. Okay, I'm going to launch this in. Okay, so it is quite long. You know, how often are you in these tools every day, never out of them? Are you using them occasionally on a daily basis? Are you using them a couple of times a week? So I've split into email, instant messaging. So instant messaging in this instance will relate to things like WhatsApp or Messenger. Are you using the telephone a lot, social media tools, so Facebook to communicate, or perhaps Yammer and tools like this? Or are you going face-to-face meetings? If you'd like to fill that in, that would be brilliant. And obviously I've added video conferencing on the last one because I think most of us probably are doing an enormous amount of video conferencing currently. I'll give you some seconds to fill that in. Okay, just wait for the last few. Okay, I'm going to end that now, thank you. And then I'll share back the results. Okay, so quite interestingly, email, and I'm not surprised by this. Everybody is you're never out of it, or you're occasionally in it on a daily basis. And we'll look at the implications of that. Email is one of those tools that is great for communication, or we see it as good for communication because it's easy access and we know it works. But in the reality of where it fits inside productivity, email actually can be a very disruptive tool to the productivity of people. Obviously, instant messaging, some of you are very active in that, never out of it. Everyday use, a couple of times a month. The phone, again, okay, every day, never off it, a couple of times, rarely using the phone. And obviously social media, there we've got a couple of you that have never used, you're not using social media to communicate to your business, which isn't a problem. And face-to-face meetings, obviously the vast majority of us, we operate with face-to-face. It's a great way to communicate because we have the visual side and we can see and we can respond to the cues that are coming back from people. Obviously video conferencing, this has become even more important recently, obviously because we've had to continue our work whilst remote from the office and remote from our clients. Okay, so we're going to move that across. Share. Okay, so coming off the back of that, and then you'll know where you sit in this, as to which generation you are. And it's quite interesting when we start looking at the generations. Generation X, so 1/3 of millennials today and Gen Xers said that they used instant messaging every day in the past year to communicate with colleagues and clients. Whereas when you look across the baby boomers, so the older generation and further back, the percentage of baby boomers that are using it is much, much lower. Okay, and what does this tell us? It tells us we need as a business to understand the people that work in the organization, because the millennials and the Generation X are going to communicate in a much different fashion. Okay, if we look here, phone, baby boomers, okay, 38% most days. Okay, and as we start dropping, everybody's using the tools, but the level of usage falls. So email, millennials 58%, Generation X 71%, but use of the phone 33 and 29. Okay, they're using more of the digital communication tools than they are the normal typical tools we would expect to see. And as organizations, we need to understand how to communicate to everybody inside the business, because if we fail and we get it wrong, it can have major implications in the effectiveness of the organization. So under communication and lack of communication is widespread, and it's a detrimental inside of organizations. We have company to employee, employee to company, employees to employees, and outside. And communication is typically seen as the biggest problem currently in the workplace today. A lot of companies struggle with passing information effectively to people in their own organizations. Now, all of these three areas start with what you say or you don't say. And people will listen, and it's these things that come out that motivate and gives you the ability to influence how people receive your information. Now, as part of this, communication style has a big impact on how people. Now, I don't know if you're aware of tools like Belbin or Myers-Briggs. These are personality tools and can be very, very useful inside of business to understand the makeup of teams, to understand whether or not we have too much of a focus or a lack of a particular type of skill. And it would be worthwhile where you've got definitely now with remote project teams or remote teams working together to have a look at, can you make your team stronger by boosting some of the internal skills that are present? Communication styles and ineffective use of tools contribute to the lack of clarity. Unclear instructions from senior colleagues or managers is the most frequently cited stressful situation that people have at work. Now, bear in mind, we are not face-to-face anymore. So the medium of the screen and the misinterpretation that is coming through what we receive on email and what we are getting through a visual is going to be taken very differently by people who are remote. So the need to communicate effectively and use the tools to do that is becoming very, very important. Style comes into it. Here's just a simple personal, analytical, functional, and intuitive style of communication. 1/3 of millennials class themselves as being functional communicators. That means they are focusing on process, think through plans step by step so that they do not miss anything. Whereas the Generation X and the baby boomers were very much focused on a personal communication style. So they're working on human relationships, personal connections, meeting people, helping the relationship grow by being personable. And the way we operate and the way we work, when we come into the digital realm, we have to make sure that what we communicate is clear, that we don't leave any area for ambiguity. We don't leave any area for people to guess. So having tools to help us be clearer, having tools to help us share information more effectively in this new way of working is vital. So I've got another poll for you. This is to get you to think about you personally. How do you communicate? What style of communication would you say you have? Are you personal? So you look at relationships, you try and build connection with people inside your business and your clients. Do you focus on process, think through plans? Are you looking and communicating using data and facts? Or are you trying to grasp the bigger picture and avoid too much detail? Okay, it's going to be a bit longer for people to think about that. You may feel you are more than one of those. I apologize, I didn't give you the chance to choose more than one. Okay, just give it a few more seconds for the last few. If you're going to add some comment. I mean, if it was me, I would be tending towards the personal and the functional side of this. I'd imagine that all of us, all of you who have added the personal and the human relationship and connection, and you've chosen that one, very interesting times for you at this moment, because that relationship and that connection aspect is not there, the physical side of it. So we'll just finish that. Thank you for that. I'll share the results. Okay, you should be able to see these on the screen. So the vast majority of you are personal. You're looking for the relationship and the connection with people. Because, you know, I don't know, I haven't asked which generations you're in, but it's quite interesting that the vast majority of us are on the personal side, which this current time with the remote working will be a stress, because you can't build that connection or that relationship. Okay, let's carry on. Okay, so why is poor communication a problem in business? Okay, now research shows that poor communication brings people to the point. It breeds uncertainty and doubt. You may not necessarily be doing this when you share things. However, if employees do not feel secure, it builds up stress. Their confidence drops, and they end up second guessing themselves, and the level of trust they place in people falls. So they start to question the job they're doing. They question the level of responsibility they have. They start to question the value that they bring. And they can question the position of the business. So if we communicate vaguely, there is a tendency that people can equate that into there's problems with the organization. If we carry on, okay, poor communication around projects can turn into rumors and suspicion. So where we leave a gap in what we share, that gives an opening for people to fill the gap. And our natural human nature is to figure out unanswered questions. So things like, why haven't I received any positive feedback, can be taken by people, I must not be doing a good job. Now, with the fact that the vast majority of businesses have not been there for March, April, May, and June, we're into this position now that a lot of people, if you haven't been communicating, will be in a very stressful and uneasy position. We also can link poor communication across to low productivity, deadlines being missed, people not actually accomplishing what they're meant to do because they've lost their focus, because they're unsure. And that can be when we share and we send out information, it's lacking clarity. Your people don't know what the objective or the goal of the task that is being taken is. And if you look further, poor customer service, complaints getting pushed around from department to department, it's very easy for businesses to spiral downwards in terms of communication not being clear. So the need for tools, the need for platforms, the need for getting our structure right and understanding, communicating more than what we would normally becomes more vital in this current situation. If we look in terms of employee turnover, okay, high turnover, 41% of workers over 50 spend 20 years with the same employer. They have an allegiance, they have a loyalty. 21% of millennials, when surveyed, have changed their job 3 times in the last 12 months. So an enormous turnaround inside of a business. If 25% millennials, if they feel positive and a business communicates well and they feel part of the organization, they will make long-term plans to stay if what they're getting is great. So our poor communication, our lack of sharing of information has an enormous impact on people staying with the business. Technology can be seen as hurting communication because it has directly cut down on face-to-face and direct, especially for those of you who answered earlier that your communication method is personal, where you're emphasizing human relationships and human connection. Technology can have a major impact on how you actually share and your style of communication, because the computer or the screen becomes a barrier to the personal connection. We have a tendency to default to email as a tool rather than picking up the phone and having a meeting. Now, obviously, for the Generation X and the millennials, that's defaulting to tools like social media. If we go back on the slides, the statistic that they communicate in chat tools and messenger tools a lot more than the face-to-face, okay? And the problem why technology can be an issue is that we no longer have access to non-verbal cues. We can't get somebody's tone of voice, we can't get the gestures, and we can't see things to help understand the message. You know, the whole idea, 93% of what we do and how we communicate is non-verbal. You know, 77% is what we say, 38% is the vocal, how people hear, and 55% is the visual on what they see. So we have to find ways of making sure that when we say something, we are clear, we bring clarity, we're linking it into the objectives and goals of the organization, and the method and the means of our delivery is thought through into the correct platforms. Now, the issues with, and I'll wait and come on to that. Okay, so another poll. If I was to ask the people, your employees, how well does your business communicate to them what is happening, the goals and objectives of the business, what is happening inside the business, how would they answer? If you'd just like to do that on a scale of 1 to 10, where your employees would say your communication is poor, or 10, your employees would say the communication is brilliant. Just wait for a few more. Okay, I'm going to end that there and share the results. What would be good if we could compare this to how you answered earlier on how you rated your communication as a business. And we've got some up here at 8 and 7, which is great to see, and we've got some down here at 4s and 5s. Going back on the slides, communication is seen as the major, biggest problem inside organizations. And with the online digital position we're in currently with COVID and coming off the back of that, it's probably having more of an impact. So I'm going to stop sharing those and move that back. Okay, so non-verbal communication, just got a short video to watch. You know, what we see, what we mine has a big impact.
What can I get started for you today? It's gonna be 6812.
Okay, so being clear, making sure that our message is not lost due to the way we've communicated, leaving out no space for ambiguity in what we say. Now, proven.com interviewed around 45 different companies, of which some are here on the screen: Zapier, Trello, WooThemes, FlexJobs. And they asked them 2 questions, and the results are quite interesting. I'm going to show you the results for one of the questions. And the key points that came out: communication is key to keeping a remote team connected and productive. Now, a lot of those companies have an enormous amount of workers that are remote. So communication is key to keep the teams connected and productive. Remote environment, people who don't communicate don't exist. They disappear. They're not seen. Face-to-face meetings, online technology is there. Give credit where credit's due, to recognize people for what they are doing. You need to be present with and available to the team and build relationships. So back to earlier, the communication style. If the communication style is personal, we need to be present when we're in calls. We need to be present when we're on video calls and can be seen, being active, because it helps build relationship even now. A lot of businesses, and you will have seen this and you may have done this yourselves, they are just having regular get-togethers online where people can talk, totally unwork related, because they see the need to actually build communication. There's a Trello case study online, and they actually strengthen that by the person who runs the marketing department. She will have at least 2 calls every week with every single member of her team outside of the team meetings, because she's checking, because her whole team work remote, that they are doing okay, and finding out what's going on and if there's any issues. Because remote working, where we're not having the personal connection, we're not actually seeing each other physically, people can easily become very isolated. We need to have open and clear communication, came out of the findings. Each team member should be encouraged to express their opinion. Okay, so they're taking part in the communication and having an input into the project, having an input into what is happening. Be the most successful remote employees over communicate. So encouraging people to talk and share. And the tools enable us to do that. And we have different types of tools for different functions. Will you be making a change to communication in your business? Let's just fire this one in and see what we have. So from where we are today, do you think you should be changing what you're doing and improving the types of information and the frequency of communication to your business? Okay, give it a few more seconds. Okay, going to end the poll. Thank you. Share the results. Okay, so we got one of you who is really good at this, which is great to hear. And then we've got the vast majority of you recognizing the need to improve, which is great. Obviously, the Humber Growth Hub, the project, if you need assistance with this, if you need assistance with tools to help you that we're going to go and look at shortly, then we are here to help you accomplish that. So let's move on. Okay, so tools for communication and managing simple projects. Okay, the key areas we have in terms of digital in this area we have collaboration, communication, and connection. Collaboration is about coming together to share our ideas, to brainstorm, to co-create documents and presentations and think about where the business is going and what the business is doing and developing new products. So we have to be able to facilitate what we would typically do face-to-face in a room together, where we're bouncing ideas off, we're using post-it notes. We need to be able to facilitate that type of environment in the online world. Obviously, communicate is being able to see, non-verbal, being able to speak and convey and talk and discuss with our colleagues. And connect is being able to physically do this from a connection perspective. I'm going to look more at collaborate and communicate when we start talking about tools. Now, obviously, earlier when you talked about the tools you use, you all mentioned email. In it every day, and I said that it's probably one of the major contributors to loss of productivity inside of organizations today. Now, email is a mainstay of communication inside business. We trust it. We receive emails, we send emails, our inboxes get full. However, from a collaboration and a connection technology, one, is very open to interpretation, depending on how you word the emails, which is where now the visual of a video conference call can take away some of the ambiguity around what did he say, because you're looking at the non-verbal cues. Now, obviously, email, we all use it, and we're probably going to use it for a lot longer inside organizations. However, an Irvine study from a university in the States, okay, we all have that inbox open. So our email is open on our desktops when we're doing another job. The study reflects that multitasking is a myth, and that when a message pops up, we go and deal with the message even if we're in the middle of doing something already. And the Irvine study showed that it takes about 20 minutes for us to regain momentum on the job we were doing effectively once we have had an interruption from an email popping up. That might even be a messenger message coming up, because it drags away our attention from the task we are currently doing. Now, one of the things we can with technology is that the need and the reliance on email for urgent requests disappears. That we now start using email as a tool for something, can you look at this later? It's non-urgent activity. So businesses need to fundamentally, in our internal communication now, probably change the way we rely on email as a tool for sending around information. We have instant messaging tools, so you will know these as WhatsApp Messenger, you'll know them as Facebook Messenger, you might use iMessage, and there are lots and lots of these tools out there. And we're starting to see that these tools, because they're instant, I send it and it pops up, it's in your tool. They're usually used for quick questions or requests that you typically ask someone in the office, okay? Some people do use messaging tools for exchanging of files and important links. The problem with this is that the communication now, it's very hard to follow. It's very hard to go and find that document. Any of you that use WhatsApp and you're in multiple WhatsApp groups with people, might be personal, it might be inside your business, you're continually scrolling back to try and find something you know was in there. So they're very, very disorganized, but they do give us the ability to post a question and get a response. In terms of, if we think about customer support in this area, communication has gone very much, using messaging tools to support customers, extremely good, because it's a quick response. It comes in and we can respond to it very quickly. So instant messaging is growing. It's that quick back and forth, quick questions about a project. Much easier than sending an email and waiting. And that email has gone to 50 people because we feel we need to copy everybody in. Whereas we can post in one group or post on a tool that is a discussion tool, and people can then bring their comments, and it becomes searchable, and it becomes information that we can store, retain, and act on in the future. Now, task and project management tools, okay, we're seeing a lot more of these come into business today. A place to put relevant files, assign them off to different individuals, and obviously keeping updates of where we are within projects and specific tasks. Often we do this using email and email threads, and I'm sure you will all agree with me, they become very difficult quickly. And you're going back and forth trying to find, there was a message and you've got out of step on your machine, you replied to something else, and then there's a sub-thread going on, okay? So bringing that into a much more structured environment by the use of a task or project management tool. Okay, so it becomes an information and a repository for anything to do with a specific project or department or role inside the organization. You have the ability to tag people, bring checklists, okay, and everybody in the team can now see deadlines. They can also see the progress and how far we have actually come along in the activity. Document creation and storage, okay, so single location for documents, the ability to collaborate, the ability to create together. I don't know if any of you have used Office 365 for this, or you've used Google Docs to do this, but instead of the old way of I send all 12 of you on this call an email with the document attached, you then all fill in your comments, you send it back to me in my email. I now have 12 versions of the document, and I have to sit through and collate all of your comments into one single document. Okay, that is long-winded. It works. However, it takes a lot of time to do that. And with technology, we can improve that and make it more effective by creating that document together at the same time using tools such as Office 365 and Google Docs. Video conferencing, you might be sick and tired of video conferencing, but video conferencing is where we bring the face-to-face. Enables us to work through processes, problems, and brainstorm as a team. To share applications, share documents, and get people's viewpoint there and then. We have face-to-face conversations, giving us a better way to understand someone's tone, how they react when we're trying to deliver complex ideas. Remote teams, however, miss the in-person connection. We're coming together and having face-to-face and just spending time in the physical. The remote aspect loses that. Now, if we look at tools over time, there are different tools that fit in different places, okay? Some of the tools we use for collaboration, some of the tools we use to communicate effectively digitally, our phone, video conferencing, instant messaging, these are short-term tools. We're not spending a lot of time on them. Email, minutes to weeks. Okay? Document management systems, SharePoints, network drives, okay? These go over time. Okay? And the suitability of the tools fits different circumstances. So I've taken some of the industry standard tools here. So Google Docs, getting feedback. Brilliant for you've written something and you want people to comment. They can come in and they can work on the document with you. Could be Office 365. For quick communication, so that instant messaging that we can store, tools such as Slack. You have a question, you have a comment, it isn't urgent, it just requires somebody to answer. It's less disruptive than a video call, and all of the information is there for us to return to. Trello, connecting apps together. Okay, project management, simple, easy tool for managing projects. We've got Zoom, face-to-face, video, discussing complex ideas in a visual meeting environment. And then obviously secure sharing, being able to get access to files, share files with your clients, share files with the project team, keeping it secure. Tools like Dropbox start to fit in here. We'll look at some alternatives right at the end. Okay, so a place that you can be organized. If we want to make effective platforms for communication, we have to be able to mimic what happens in the face-to-face environment of the office. These tools form a backbone. I'm not recommending any of them. I'm just giving you some insight into what is available on the market. Personally, I use Google Docs. I do use Slack, as do most companies out there, large companies who are doing a lot of remote working. Trello I use. I have Zoom. I also have Microsoft Teams, and I do use Dropbox, but I also use OneDrive from Microsoft. Okay, so you can mix these environments. It's finding a platform and finding tools that the business can use. The issue with using tools for communication such as WhatsApp and Messenger is the communication is locked inside the tool. And to improve effectiveness, we need the whole business or those people that are involved with that project to be able to see all communication. So we need a way of linking these tools. We need a way of making sure people can access these tools. Now, another poll, okay, what tools are you using in your business to collaborate? I'm just going to fire this in. Okay, and I've broken them up and I've given you some suggestions. You can choose multiple ones. What tools do you use? So, document creation. Now, you might not be using any tools to create documents. That's fine, but the functionality is there and it's easily accessible. We've got decision tools, discussion, where we're talking and communicating. We've got project task management tools, document sharing tools, and online meeting tools. So if you'd like to take a few seconds to tick the ones that apply, that would be great. Give you a bit longer for those that are still thinking. a few more seconds. Okay, I'm going to end the poll. Okay, I voted, apologies, and I'm going to share the results. Okay, so obviously 365 is being used. We've got 2 of you not doing any collaborative document creation. Team discussion tools, obviously chat from the Microsoft Teams. And obviously a lot of this is, so I've just spent 10 weeks running some online education for Warwick University. And we're working with students over in China, also in Europe. And you know, we're using Microsoft Teams for chat. It works when it's specific. Again, it's very hard scrolling back in a chat session in the different channels we use, and there's not that much organization to it, but it does a job. Obviously Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp. WeChat Messenger is a Chinese social media platform, but it's available here in the UK. Project management, we've got most of you in Microsoft Excel. Yeah, Excel does everything. And then some of you using something else down here. Nobody's using Trello. Okay. Document storage, we've got a good mix here. We've got some in-house servers, and you are probably using some of the others. Okay, but we have to, the key to making communication work and online meetings work and running and managing projects is making sure that people have access to all of the information when they need it. Obviously, all of these cloud tools, as long as your whole team is in them, they give us that. In-house servers can, with remote working, cause issues and problems to that level of access. And we've got other webinars previously discussing on how to enable remote working. And obviously online meetings, yeah, Zoom has been pushed into the forefront excessively. It's probably one of the most used tools out there because it is easily accessible. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing those. So thank you for that. Okay, just to go through some of the tools. So Zoom, I'm pretty sure you've all heard of Zoom, and you're probably all sick and tired of Zoom for meetings. We're probably all video conference meeting out. Zoom do a free version, which gives us 40 minutes. Their bottom paid version, which a lot of organizations are using, gives £12 a month, and you can have meetings up to 24 hours. You can have 100 participants, and it's a pretty good tool. Ring Central is very similar to Zoom, which is what we're using today. The Zoom version has an integration to Skype, so you can actually bring people from Skype for business calls into a Zoom meeting. So Zoom gives us the ability to physically see each other. We have Trello, which I don't know if any of you have come across Trello. Trello is a simple project task management tool, and I'm going to show you Trello in a moment. They have a free version which will do a lot of functionality, and they have a paid version. The difference, one of the main difference, is power-ups, which I will show you power-ups in Trello because it's how we accomplish integration across all of these different tools. And you get a very small document file attachment size. So by going up to a different level, you can actually get custom fields and other things added. So that's $10 a month per user. But it is a visual, easy to use, simple project management tool set. And the last one I'm going to do here is Slack. So Slack is a tool that's recognized in the industry in relation to discussion. So this is the message. tool. It's centralized. They do a free version, of which I use the free version, and then they've got paid versions. Slack also has built-in video conferencing if you pay, and you get storage and the ability to link in, to integrate to other tools. So Slack and Trello link together. And now there are lots more tools out there. I'm going to show you these. Well, I'm going to show you Trello and I'm going to show you Slack, because I'm pretty sure you are all pretty much confident with where Zoom fits. So the key to it is we have all of these disparate tools, separate tools. Now, in order to make them work inside a business, we need to start bringing them together. We need to have a central point where we can get access to files, we can get access to information, and people can see and pull in different information from different tools. People work just in one tool. There's a seamless exchange of data, okay? And communication platforms are about removing the reliance on email, reducing the burden of emails being sent round and people having to keep on top of their email inboxes, removing duplicate emails, removing that thread that just says, oh, yeah, I agree, yeah, no problem. And these are the emails that we're having to deal with. So moving into a communication platform will help us be more productive. A joined up platform helps with virtual teams, which I'm pretty sure this way of working in your organizations has probably changed a lot since the middle of March, where a lot more people are working remotely. So we need the platforms, we need the tools to give them access to the information. And what we're looking for is something that increases the productivity of the business. People accomplish more. So in relation to these tools, we're looking at integrating and sharing information across them all. Okay, so that's our aim. That's what we're going for, to be able to have one tool where we can pull in information from the others. So I'm going to just show you, if you haven't seen tools like Trello and Slack, I'm just going to pull those up onto the screen just to show you the type of things we can do. Now, I'm going to pull up Trello first, and hopefully if I drag this across, you can see my web browser. Can you just, somebody type in the chat that you can see the web browser? Or have you still got my slides? Yes, you can see the web browser. Thank you, Liz. Okay, so Trello. And I'm just going to go back to, yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Daljit. Okay, so we'll go to home. Trello works on what we call boards. And I've got quite a few. You can have personal boards, one's just for you. You can have team shared boards. Okay, so I've got an EBM team, the people I work at the university. And then I've got a module we run with the students called the Digital Workplace, and we operate a board for that. So they can learn how to use these tools. So I'm going to drop into one of these. Now, Trello have a lot of templates. So if you're stuck from where to start, you can drop in here. So if you're looking at doing something around design, they have starter boards you can pick from. So design sprints, design huddles, okay? And that will give you boards with ideas and information in them. Now, if I go to my boards, I've added some of these in to give you an idea. Now, Trello works on a Kanban style of project management. It's very focused on agile type information. So if I drop in here to give you an idea of the agile board, and we create areas, okay, and we add cards to those areas. So this is just an example. So we have a list. In this list, we've got done, current sprint, in progress, on hold, and we can color code and allocate to different people inside our business. And we can invite multiple members. So if I drop to a board that has got multiple people in it, projects board we use with students, you can see here we've got 47 students logged into this board. So we use this as an information resource for the students doing their dissertations. They can see how to start, okay, where to go and get help. So if I click in there, they get a link into where the help files are. If we've got a help section on doing their modules, conferences they can go, how to seek for jobs, online courses. And if we scroll across, we've got sections of their project. So here we've got one on dissertation structure. So there's an image, there's a link, there's some PDFs on introductions that have been done previously by past students, and some comments from some of the lecturers. Okay, and this is just to give them basics, but this could be a company board on HR policy, it could be a company board on expenses with all the forms they need or following through a process. And we finish off with some full projects. So that's just a simple, straightforward board we use. If I drop back in here, let's look in the editorial workflow one. The editorial workflow is if you're an agency creating content, we've got ideas, what's been commissioned, ready for section editor, final edits, ready for SEO. So this would be your process, your workflow. And it gives a simple way for people to follow. We'll see here on this one, there's a due date. Okay, we can add attachments, and I have added in the ability to go external. So what we've got here, and this is where the integration starts to play. So I've got digital marketing simulation as a board. If I had a document about that, I can link to my Dropbox. Choose the folder, sign in, go to Dropbox. Let me just sort this out. And he hopes you remembered his password. Okay, I can go through my Dropbox. I can pick up a document. Let me go down here into 1G courses. Okay. Pick one from the bottom. That's just a simple straight one. Okay. There's his working document. Hit choose, and now I've attached that to this board. I can add a comment. I can assign it to people. I can add a due date. I can add a checklist of things to be ticked off. Okay, and then people can come in and start to comment against that particular board. So here we can start seeing there's a document being added. The document could come from Google Drive, okay, and that goes in there. So it gives us a very simple, easy tool for remote people. Now the free version enables you to add lots of people. So the projects board I showed you had 47 members. That project board is on the free version. And the only issue we're going to hit there is if we go over the storage space. Okay, now Trello, very, very simple, very easy to use. If you're not doing something to do with project management, it's definitely worth looking at as something to help you bring the tasks together in a remote working environment to get more visibility and improve that communication level to the business. The other tool I'm going to show you is Slack. So Slack doesn't work on boards. Slack works on spaces, so workspaces. So I've got a tool here. I've got a workspace for TDW team, and in there I have channels. So I've got a client one channel about a particular client. I've got a digital marketing channel, and then I can invite additional people in. Now this is the free version, and then I can add additional apps. So I can make Trello talk to Google Docs. I can make Trello talk. I can make Slack talk to Google Docs. I can make Slack talk to Dropbox. I can make Slack talk to Trello. So you can see here my digital marketing channel. So I can have multiple channels inside this group. Okay, so I can have another one called Client 2. So people can join it right there, and I can go off and add people, which I'm going to skip. So client 1, client 2, digital marketing. This could be Humber Growth Project. It could be other projects I'm working on with other people in this shared workspace. And it is literally a threaded message tool. So we go in, and I can add attachments, I can put links in, okay, I can copy, I can people in, so I can do myself in there, okay, I can attach a document from my Google Drive on my computer and put that in to here. Just go to downloads. Okay, and then post that into the digital marketing channel. Now you will notice here that I have integrated this to my Trello. So we can see here that when I added the document, it will come into the Trello board. Okay. And when I added the checklists, it's telling me there's been activity in Trello. So I can click through and go to that particular card. So I'm trying to bring all of the information together. It's taking me through, that's my card. I've got the document here, okay? And I've got my checklists. If I do that, okay, check it all off. Okay, that's all done. If I close that in Slack, it will update to Slack and tell me that's been checked, that's been checked, that's been checked. So this becomes our discussion tool. Now what we can do is if I click on this one, I can then start a threaded message based off this particular one, okay? So we have the ability to thread messages underneath, we have the ability to add, we have the ability to link. Now the beauty of Trello is if this particular one here is a document we're doing, when I've completed it, I can drag it across and move it directly into another list. So we've gone from an idea into ready for the final edit. So it's gone through our workflow, and then obviously our discussion tool will reflect that the digital marketing simulation is gone from an idea to ready for final edit. And people can link to Trello from here and put messages straight in to the particular Trello board. Okay, and then that would appear over in here if I'd done the reverse connection. So Trello, Zoom, these are just tools. They fit in specific areas of the organization. Okay, now there are other tools available. So for video conferencing, we have Microsoft Teams, Ring Central, we have Skype for Business, we have FaceTime. All these tools give us the ability to talk. Facebook Groups now has a built-in video group tool. We've got Google Hangouts, which again does video. It's picking a tool that works for the business. Again, the program can help you understand your requirements and help you move down this route. We have messaging tools, multiple different types of tools to message. The key to all of this is making sure that your organization is working on the same platforms, and you don't have a mix of platforms inside the business, because we end up then with information being in multiple different places, which means we can't actually access it easily and then action it. Task project management, I've shown you Trello. Trello is probably one of the easiest tools out there, but we have Asana, we have Jira, okay, more complex project management. Most of the tools on this chart have free accounts, so you can go and see what they work like and then test with people to see if it's something that the business can handle. And then documents, OneDrive, iCloud, Zoho Docs, which somebody said earlier they were using. Okay, so it's about, the tools are there. I would say if you're looking for something to start, take a look at Trello, take a look at Slack, and see how they may work. Especially if what you want to do is create spaces so you can communicate more effectively to the people in your business. So if we go right back to the start, so they feel part of the organization, they feel they can understand the goals and objectives, using the tools wisely to make sure you're communicate and over communicating to them what is happening, especially at this current time when businesses are now starting to come back and businesses are starting to move forward. People need more reassurance and more levels of communication from the owners of the business in order to bring security and less stress. Okay, we're going to come to questions in a minute, but what is available for you? So how can the program help you adopt digital technology? Okay, well, obviously there are regular webinars to help you grow. So over the next 3 weeks, we have a number of webinars that you can book on. And there's one, the 22nd, on fraud and cyber awareness, being run by Humber Police. We've got Scott delivering on how to protect your business from a cyber attack. And then Colin and Mark are going to do surviving, reviving and thriving, getting ready for the new normal in July. There is a webinar scheduled for the 13th of July, which is going to be focused on digital marketing and the basic overviews of the different types of marketing and where they fit. There'll be more in-depth ones later on that, on specific areas such as paid advertising and search and all of these type of activities. Okay, so there is a fourth one there that we're just sorting out the time for. Okay, so obviously there's the webinars that you can drop into. We have one-to-one expert support for your business as well. So in a nutshell, what do we offer? I'll bring all of these up together. Okay, one-to-one support from experts that are technology specialists to help you to stimulate ideas of where technology can be used to benefit your organization. to help you develop teams, inspire creativity. Okay, so it's around the aspects of adoption, working more efficiently, developing a new product or service, getting your customer offer so it's presented and marketed well, and it's clear, winning new work, getting work from existing clients, all of these type of activities, keeping yourself safe in the current climate from cyber attack. We have access to grants where you can get money and funding, and really it's about holding your hand to get you started on this journey, okay, and helping you take a shortcut. So understanding what the business is doing, what the business needs to do, and helping you jump and cut through and progress faster. Some examples of projects that the program has delivered: moving into cloud, so coming from an office-based server or office-based systems into an environment that enables remote working effectively. Some of you would have been forced into that, some of you were probably doing that. Consolidating your technology, looking at what applications will improve your productivity, cybersecurity, moving into online accounts, CRM, implementing CRM, and using that to effectively market and understand your customers better, and obviously e-commerce and selling and finding new routes to market, and diversification of your product or your business into an e-commerce model. We can help you overcome challenges. Let me bring these up. Okay, so is that technologies that value to your business, okay, value for money, the knock-on changes that are required, so how is your business going to have to change? Are the people aspect of rolling out the technology comes into this, looking at what technologies are there and helping you implement and manage it going forwards. We have support available for you, so we run through a benchmark exercise, which then links into expert support to help you figure through and think differently, which then results in action plans. We can link you into people to provide the services, and then, you know, get technology providers and help you select. Outcomes: increased business agility, flexibility, growth, high profits. You can read these yourself. The presentation, the video will be available. If you need to speak to us, you can call us, or you can go to the website and show your interest. Okay, the program is there. Your involvement is your time. There is no cost to get the experts in to work with you. So it's there. It's been made available to help businesses grow, to help businesses adopt digital technology, and that can be in any area of your organization currently, or diversifying your business into a new area and looking at alternative ways to sell or deliver products that customers need. Okay, so that is me finished. I've just got one last poll to do, which is a feedback poll. I'm just going to put that in, and then if you've got any questions, you can raise your hand or you can put them in the chat or the question tool, and I'm quite happy to answer those. Or I can unmute your mic and you can ask the question direct. I just need to know that you